Welcome to the last clip. Is molestation blown out of proportion? There are so many issues that affect a survivor. I just wrote down 10 of them, and those are the first 10 that came to mind, and those are the 10 I will share with you today. One of them is the contrast within energy. Suddenly you will see this individual have a tremendous amount of energy. They're going to be an overdrive. They're always going to be doing a million things and always overloading their system. Or they're going to have very, very low energy, extremely low energy, always tired, sitting on the couch, reading, and they can barely help around. They can barely do things. I even know of mothers that can't even get themselves to make dinner, and there's kids that are hungry. So you have the contrast of lots of energy, where they can't even go to bed till 1 or 2 in the morning, or no energy, that they're basically in bed all day, or as much as they could be. Number 2 is control. That's the biggest one, which is, like we spoke about in different clips, about the idea of control, that they did not have control over these two parts within them of having pleasure and saying no to the discomfort feeling, or those that were raped, or those that were forced to participate. Again, control was taken away, regardless of how you look at control. Or they have to control and give comments about everyone and everything that they're doing, so they end up annoying people because they're busy controlling. They don't let people breathe, or the whole control's out the window. They cannot make a decision of what they should make for supper. As simple as that. It's so simple, but for them it's the most overwhelming thing. So again, almost all of the 10 things I'm going to be talking about, it's always in a polar extent. It's or way too much control, even to the level of OCD, or they have like whatever. You ask them what to do. The answer is always whatever. Even though after you decide to do something, they're going to criticize you of why you did it. But it's a lot of fun. Number 3 is food. Or they're going to avoid food, eat very little, or they will not stop to eat. Their appetite will be amazing. Number 4, and I'm going to say something very powerful. They do not have a proper relationship with themselves. As a result, they cannot have proper relationships with anyone. Or they're not involved in their relationship, or they're way overbearing and too intense with the relationship. And they can be extremely loving, but it's just too intense. So again, our emotional immune system is low. Very low emotional immune system, and our body is just totally out of control. That balance, that magical balance within us of positive and negative, yes and no, does not exist. Or they fall on one side, or they fall on the other side. Number 5, sleep. Or they're going to be sleeping a lot, and they're always going to feel tired. They could sleep 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours. Or they could barely go through a night with 3 or 4 hours, and they're all very tense, very, very difficult for them. Number 6 is a big one, that they're depressed. They could be depressed. But sometimes there's a polar here too. There's some people that will be extremely bubbly and social and happy to cover up on the sadness because they're scared to go to the dark closet. So they're always dancing and partying and listening to music and having ideas and doing a lot of stuff. Or there's others that are depressed, and there's some people that have both. And you don't know what day they are what. Bipolar. They're one day they're this way, one day they're that way, and it's very confusing. Number 7 is a huge one. That's addiction, and it's even more difficult today than ever before because people deny addiction. So for example, people are on the computer for a long period of time, and they're busy for 5 hours in the evening watching YouTube. The other addiction that people are in denial a lot is about addiction about their phones. I hear stories lately in the last few years, parents put their kids to sleep, to bed, with their phone in their hand. Like, that's your oxygen? You can't breathe without it? It's horrible, but today we go, oh, it's always excused. Someone might call me, it's an important call. Yeah, once in a blue moon, that could be true, but yeah, you want to be there with your kids, but again, they can't because they're not going to be there with themselves. Number 8. Number 8 is a big one. Number 8 is religion. And this is where it also gets very confusing. Or they're going to go very deep in religion and become extremely religious, fanatical. And that's, again, people actually compliment and they go, wow, you're so sincere and you're so dedicated and this, you're so uplifting. No. No one is sincere and dedicated if they fly to one side. Because even religion wants you to be balanced. Religion wants you to take care of your body. Religion wants you to take care of your soul. There's a balance. You got to be with yourself, with your family. Got to shower too. You know, it's all very, very important. And what I find religion is something extremely interesting. Or some people dump totally their religion overnight, or some people dive into it. Okay, number 9. Number 9 is they could go into any extreme, or they're suddenly going to need a lot of stuff. They're going to need a lot of clothing. They're going to need a lot of shoes. They're going to need just a lot of stuff. And you think they'll be happy with it, but somehow, even after they buy it, a day later, a minute later, or a month later, they can't even look at it, which they need it so much. And you'll notice nothing ever satisfies them. It's not that they're going to buy $700 or $7,000 worth of clothing and they're going to be sitting on the couch and saying, praise the Lord, I have everything I need. I am so happy. Look at my closet. Even after they walk in the closet, they can't even walk in because there's so much clothing there. They're still unhappy. Or they bounce to the polar side, which is suddenly fine to wear the same clothing month after month, year after year, especially a woman, which usually women would buy new clothing once in a while. They find no need to buy anything for themselves. They don't feel they deserve it for whatever reason. Number 10, and the last and final one, is sexuality. Or they're going to be really into it and find that's the only way they could exist, or sadly many of them feel that's the only way they're loved is through sexuality. And if someone tells them that they like them or love them, the only way their brain says that it's true would be only through sexuality. And obviously that causes a lot of issues, because you have people sleeping around and you have people having sex with so many people that they can't even count themselves what's going on. And obviously the long-term effect is just total disaster. Or they totally block off from sexuality, and as some of them told me, they're proud. There's a label for it called asexual, which means they want relationships but nothing to do with sexuality. And let me tell you, there's only one understanding of all this. This is called balance. If you go to either side, there's something wrong. And it's not that there's an emergency and there's something terrible and you have to call the fire department, but it's something you want to deal with to become a happier person, a person that would love to go through life in a just with a light heart. Because when the body goes to either extreme, it doesn't matter what the extreme is, it can cause lots of issues. Now, Joy, thanks for tuning in, and we hope people will just be very happy. And I must say as well that all the things I mentioned today is not necessarily only as a result from molestation. It can be as well a result of severe trauma. Any of these could happen. This is trauma, but this is typically, I've dealt with individuals that went through the trauma of molestation. Have a wonderful and delightful day, and life can